This is Dan, DK Excavating. We're back out here at 420 Cheyenne Avenue in Albin, Wyoming. I looked at this last fall, I think it was in October. Came back out here to do the repair. Here we are, April 1st. 2026. So here we are. This is the end of our repair. I am at the end of our cable. Man, it is right there. We're about this line kind of angles from the house to the east, maybe a little bit northeast, and it kind of angles to the next the dirt street over here that's kind of east of the shop or the detached garage over there. And we're probably about 5 feet from the edge of the street, so we're still on the property. I'll go ahead and pull back, show you the repair. This is probably roughly a 60-foot stretch of repair right here. We did use Schedule 40 PVC. So this line right here, I just have to mention, this is a we had a full 10-foot chunk, and then this little piece that was a repair coupling. There's no little ridge in the middle, so that's why it looks so like a fine line instead of like a gap. Like, so here's a normal coupling. There's a little quarter-inch gap molded into the coupling on a coupling, and that's why those look a little bit bigger. So, on a repair coupling, there's no ridge, so you can slide it back and forth over the pipe. Getting pretty close to the Y here. We did extend this out a lot more just to help the transition from the shop. So this is a Y coming from the shop, angling into our main line here. We probably went back up that left way about 8 feet until we tied on to the ABS that was going into the shop. It's not very deep right there either. Probably only like a foot and a half. Not very deep, close to the shop. Keep coming back. A little stretch of pipe here. I think this is our clean out. We replaced a clean out. Not a lot of slope on this whole stretch here, but we had enough. About 1/8 bubble on this whole stretch, but we had enough. And before, the pipe was terrible. It was left, right, up, and down. Changed this direction, that direction. It had offsets where there was other fern cones, and we made that a lot nicer. Dug it out real nice on a slope with a laser. Bedded in pea gravel. Packed it back in. It's just another coupling. These are 10-foot sections of pipe. It's not a total replacement. We just replaced the spots that were a major concern during the buying and selling of this house last fall. It's kind of a shallow line. We had to cross some utilities. Didn't want to, if it wasn't necessary, didn't want to do it with a bunch of frost on the ground, so we kind of waited. We didn't really have much frost this year, but we made it out here finally. Pretty soon, yeah. Here's our transition back to SDR from Schedule 40. This is, I don't know, it's probably about 10 feet at this angle from that retaining wall. There's a railroad tie retaining wall. So just before it crosses under, there's the phone line utility. We did not have to cross the phone line, thank goodness. But yeah, this is just before that. So this is the original pipe coming back. There wasn't anything major concerning with this, so as part of the original repair estimate, we didn't include this. I did notice that some of the pipe we took out, that some of these bells on these were not glued in very far. But as long as there's flow and no root penetration, that one's not bad. There shouldn't be any issues. One of the ones we took out, though, it was not very far in, and it was kinked really badly. That one's good too. Alright, here we go again. Here's number 2. So this is getting closer to the house. There was a mobile home over here, and this is right before we Y into where the mobile home is. So again, there's a repair coupling there. So, and then glued into the Y. Angle up that Y just about 1.5 feet. There's a 45 as well. Lots of good slope on this whole section, but yeah, we probably went up that way about, I don't know, 4 feet. I can't remember how far it is till we tie back into the SDR, and that just eventually there's another clean out, and then it comes out of the ground where that mobile home was resting. And then got another little chunk of pipe before a 10-foot. There's our coupling. Another 10-foot chunk here before we get to where this thing was damaged and repaired poorly when they trenched the utilities across. So going back into SDR, the utilities would be the power line. Just something to note, that power wire that was going to the mobile home is pretty much resting right on top of this. They did not go very deep. It might be a little less than 2 feet deep, but that power wire is on top of this, not below this. Alright, now we're kind of coming across this crushed concrete driveway, working our way back to the cleanouts. The two-way cleanouts that are on the east side of the house. That fitting there is kind of what I'm talking about. I mean, there's probably a good inch or more they could have gotten if they would have pushed those pipes together a little further, but don't see root intrusion, still have flow, nothing really wrong with that except for it's not ideal. It looks like there's, now when we get closer to the house, we jump back into schedule 40. These cleanouts would come up our schedule 40 as well, and I zeroed this out at our cleanout, so here we are. Now we're coming out the cleanout. Come up here, show you a look around. So here's our cleanouts. Looking to the north, back that way, where our repairs were. You see that piece of yellow equipment over there in that bush that's just to the right of the edge of the barn. That's kind of, that sewer line angles right that way, right next to that bush, and that's where we ended up. So thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, let me know.